Alrighty, let's see if this works. Starting up. And we'll wait for good people to join.
We're live?
Yeah, it's just gone live now. So if you're rewatching this later, guys, you might want to skip forward a little bit, or you can listen to us talk a bit of trash while we wait for people to join. How was your day, Craig?
Oh, my day. I had the day off yesterday. I had my grandfather pass away over the weekend, so I took yesterday off, and today's been mayhem, trying to catch up with everything. But you know what? I'll tell you, man, like this. He's 97 years old, and the whole family was waiting, willing, and happy for him to pass. He wanted to pass, but there's nothing like a member of your family who's helped mold you in certain, like, he's molded me more than most people in my family, because my pop was the type of dude that would, like, you'd be there with him, right? And you'd be 8 years old and you'd be just having fun. And he was like, oh, there's a lesson to be learnt here. And you're like, freaking hell, like, come on, Pop, Jesus Christ. Nan's like, have a caramel koala, shut up, Pop. But he always had a message. So he taught me so much. And he was just a wonderful human. And we were told 3 weeks ago he was going to pass away. But when it happens, there's nothing that really prepares you for it. Like, you just lost a member of your family, regardless of how much you think, okay, it's going to happen and it's good if it happens because he wants that, the family wants that, he's got a bad quality of life, all this sort of stuff. Nothing prepares you for that. And it puts a lot of shit in perspective, Alex. It really does. Like, people that speak shit about you, who gives a shit about that? Honestly, like, I couldn't care less. There's more important things in life, you know?
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Craig. We did talk about it before as well, guys. But 97 is a pretty good innings, and unfortunately, I did become numb to this when I was working at the pharmacy, because you do lose a lot of people that you even become friends with as part of your job from working with elderly people and whatnot. But we've got.
Don't get me wrong. Look, I'm not playing the bloody violin. Like, it's a positive thing for our family. We're all very happy for the fact that it's happened. Like, it's a very positive thing. It's just, it doesn't really, you know, there's nothing that you can really prepare yourself for losing a member of your family. I'm happy. I'm good. I'm cool. I had yesterday off, but today I'm happy. You know, I'm happy. I'm good.
Well, not that it's any sort of real compensation, but Bitcoin going up $1,000 was a pretty unreal feeling for a lot of people in the crypto community day. So do you want to bring up your chart, or I happened to be at the computer, and yeah, I was a bit shocked when it went up $500. Thought, wow, guys, we got the bull break. We were right at that key level we were watching. But then when it just kept going and kept going, the RSI was at like 99 on the 5 minute, the 15 minute. I haven't seen anything like that for a long time.
Okay, I've got the wrong screen up. Hang on. Let me just get the right. So I'm with you on that big time, mate. Here we go. All right. Let me just share the screen correctly. That's the one I want to do. Yeah, I mean, look, honestly, mate, today took me completely by surprise. I've been talking a lot to a few levels. And I talk about, this is the Bitfinex charts now. I've been talking to Bitfinex, and I've been talking to Coin, what's it called?
Base.
Base, that's it. I've been talking a lot about the breakthrough of this level. And I'll tell you why. The reason I've been talking about this level a lot is because on the weekly chart, we have not had a weekly uptrend since the bull run of 2017. So as much as we'd seen a lot of little tick-alongs and whatnot, that has been positive. I mean, I talked about this, the pullback here, the higher high, here's the higher low, here's the higher high, here's the pullback. I was really hoping to see a third higher high, because we hadn't seen a third higher high in the last year or so. I mean, if I come back through and show you this, right? We pulled back in, higher high, higher low, failed. Then we saw this, okay, tentative higher high, very tentative. Then another high, sorry, higher low, higher high. It was messy. It wasn't clear. In fact, the lower highs had been so much more clear. Now, this was the point at which, and I've got a lot of flack for this because people don't understand my language as a trader. I said, once we broke up through here, very clear higher low to higher high. I said, I'm bullish. And I was totally bullish. And then it failed. So the market changed its mind. It went from bullish to, nah, it just went higher low, higher high. So one high, two high, pull back. We hadn't seen a proper run of higher highs in a trend that went beyond two. Now, here's the first one. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Now, even though that was within my realms of I still wanted to break above here and I still wanted to break above here, today really surprised me. I'll be dead set honest, mate. I did not expect to see what we've seen today. That is a very powerful breakthrough. And what we now have is the daily with high, like at least third, fourth higher highs, and the weekly with a higher low and a higher high. Now, we haven't seen that since back in that 2017 bull run. Now, just because we've seen that doesn't mean we're going to go higher. I had said if we broke that level, I could very realistically start hitting 5,000. And the reason I say that is because, look, lower high, lower low, pull straight back into that cradle zone around that 5,000 mark. Now, I didn't see it happening so fast. We've seen 2 monthly candles, both broken to the high now. We could still very realistically see this market go sideways, give us a bearish candle for the month of April. Sorry, not so much for the month of April, but hold and go sideways. And in the month of May, see a bearish candle and continue lower. So my perspective is that we're not out of the dark yet. I'll tell you right now. I'm pretty happy to see this candle, Alex.
Yeah, it's at 6,000 level, I guess, for me, that everyone was just watching, and I really thought it was going to hold personally throughout that year when it held so many times. So that's the level for me that I'll start to get really excited about if we can get over 6,000. But yeah, at some stage you have to acknowledge that there's been pretty decent volume come in across the board, across all the high cap altcoins. If you bring up a total market cap chart, there's some good stats. And I know you don't look at volume too much, but there's some good volume coming in, and that's convincing. And the bottom is going to form at some point when a lot of people are calling for it to still go lower, and a lot of smart people are calling for it to go higher. And we've sort of got a good mix of bullish and bearish traders at the moment. But these markets just show today how thinly traded they are. And a lot of people are going to sing out manipulation, but I don't think it was at all, guys. I think there's just a lot of traders in here that are pretty wealthy. You can trade on 100 times leverage. If a key level that everyone's watching breaks, we get these sort of moves. And there was a lot of shorts that got burnt today. To be honest, I think this is all pretty normal trading action. 20%, it's nothing that crazy, even though we get super excited about it.
Well, there's a couple of points I'd like to bring up. I'll bring my chart up again here, because I want to show a couple of things. I think, I was talking about this recently. I know it's going to be quite skewed right now, but I'm just going to blur that out of the way. One of the things that during that, if you recall the August to October period of time where it was, look, let's have a look. It was very sideways, right? Oh, sorry, I'm still not used to the whole trading view new chart system. If you recall this period through here, now you're not going to see it on the daily, right? You won't see that, but there's a lot of spikes, and those spikes were a spike up. Now, as soon as it spiked up, and those of you who are fairly regular market participants will recall this, the market would spike up maybe $100, and then what would happen? It would sell off to either the same lows or new lows. Now, if we take that same understanding for where we are right now, let me show you what was I spoke about today in the podcast, actually. If you look at this, right, we'll go to the 1 hour here. Spike down, buyers came back instantly. Spike down, buyers came back instantly, right? We've seen this occur fairly frequently. Spike down, buyers come back. Spike down, buyers come back. So it's almost like doing a handstand. The people that were selling before on the spike up have now become the people when it spikes down. They see that as a buying opportunity. And of course, this chart now looks all whacked out because of the amazing amount of buying. But let's just put that in perspective here. This didn't happen in one spike. This was not a spike buy. 15 minutes up, 15 minutes up, 15 minutes up, 15 minutes up. Then it pulls back for a long period, consolidates. I wouldn't be surprised to see it push higher. The way that this market has moved, and that's what I'm concerned about, is the way that it moves. The way this market has moved has not been a radical spike that we've seen in alt markets for such a long time now, which comes and goes very, very quickly. It's been more sustained, more calculated, and it's held for longer. And I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, and if you put a fundamental spin on that about the wicks being bought instead of sold into now, we know that the whales and the smart money was shorting a lot on the way down, and now we've seen the top 100 Bitcoin addresses clearly accumulate up to 70% more Bitcoin and Ethereum. So they're the guys that are buying and adding to their holdings. They've decided that this is a reasonably good entry for them long term. Maybe it does go a bit lower, but they seem pretty happy, and I'm going to have a look at some questions coming in, Craig, but anything else on those thoughts?
Look, when it comes to the news, I want to make something very clear. On my podcast every day, I always cover the news, like on my morning podcast, the news and the price. Now, the reason I've included the news into that is for two reasons. One is to pick out some of the interesting parts of the news that I think is important. The other side is to just really point out how irrelevant certain news is. When someone's talking about news from a price analysis perspective, they're usually 12 hours behind. If you watch the market go down, you'll watch the news say Bitcoin's bad, market's down, blah, 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 because these are journalists. They're not traders. They're not market participants. The market goes up. Everything all of a sudden is fantastic. So what you've got to do for all the viewers and listeners out there is you've got to be able to take out all the subjective stuff, i.e. price prediction stuff, and really focus on what is development. What is the development that's positive in this space, or equally negative? So forget the price, predictions and whatnot, because that's rubbish. There's no need to be involved in that. Look at what's actually happening, and that's the whole point of what I'm trying to get across, is that a lot of the time the news is absolute rubbish unless you know what to pick out.
Yes, the signal and the noise is the white book up there on the shelf. It's very important to determine the signal from the noise. Questions here. Anything in particular you're trading? I guess I want to talk about altcoins just quickly. So typically when Bitcoin has these runs during a bull market, altcoins, the good altcoins will outperform percentage-wise, and that's known as beta. So on the way down, Ethereum had a higher beta than Bitcoin. It went down further. Now, today was really interesting because Bitcoin jumped 20% and a lot of altcoins are only up 5 to 10%.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering now, if we're having this little cooling off period, if a lot of these alts, we've been using the term popcorn a lot lately because we've been recognizing a good fundamentals or a news event or technical analysis or whatever, and these altcoins are just popping, 100%, 200% in a week or so. So it wouldn't surprise me to see the good altcoins follow and play a bit of catch up now, even while Bitcoin trades sideways. But it's going to be interesting to see if everything just goes up, or if this is an entire market phenomenon with new money coming in, or if Bitcoiners take some profits and now put them into their good altcoins and see where that water level ends up.
Look, I've definitely got a perspective on that. I've been talking to that a lot. And again, I'll share the screen because I think it's really important to show exactly. I mean, let me show you my watch list for today, right? Let's explain a lot. Here's my watch list here. This is my watch list. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 that are against the dollar. The rest are against Bitcoin. Now, I'm a trader that I believe in Bitcoin. I believe in Bitcoin's growth. So if I can trade and I can trade to get more sats, I'm all over that. I've got no preference either side. I don't mind. Now, the thing that I've been really focused on, for anyone who's been listening and following, when Bitcoin goes slow, it's the altcoins where the opportunity is to build your sats. Now, a lot of people are thinking, well, I'll make money. But look, perspective, guys, perspective. When Bitcoin does something like this, if you look in 0.1 of a Bitcoin, just something small or less, whatever. But I don't know, I'm not sure what everyone's numbers are, but if you can look in 0.1 of a Bitcoin, let's say that that's, you know, $350 back down or $420 here, it moves. Those Bitcoins are now worth more. I have no issue trading for Bitcoins. And throughout my whole watch list, I mean, this is a market I've been in for a very long time. My stop still remains. There's been a real emphasis here on trading against Bitcoin to build those sats. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a really smart way to operate. Now, of course, on a day like today, I mean, let's use IOC for an example, right? Look at that candle. That's a messy candle. The reason that's the messy candle is because all of a sudden money went from alts back into Bitcoin. Now, you never know when that's actually going to happen. But when Bitcoin itself is not doing a great deal, build your sats. Because you know as well as I do, at some point, Bitcoin is going to go ahead and grab the throat of the market and say, hey, MF, I'm here. I am the boss. Follow me. And when that happens, tokens as good as Binance are still going to sell off. So knowing what markets to focus on at what times is incredibly important. And for me and the people that I work with, when it's slow like this, my watch list will be filled with whatever the epic code is /BTC. Once that market starts to move, then we start to go back to the dollar margin pairing. So I think it's a really important fact to make, because a lot of people don't feel the importance of trading against Bitcoin for sats. But when you put it into relativity, I think it's a really important thing to do.
Yeah, and a lot of people were commenting on social media today that altcoins were getting smashed against Bitcoin. But again, I've always been a US dollar person, because if the price of something is going up and there's more money going into something, it's still good for your overall portfolio. But as you say, it depends if you're trading to increase your sats.
But let's be real. Bitcoin's money. I mean, if we're not here believing that Bitcoin is money, then why are we here?
That'll certainly be the ultimate gauge in the future, when everyone starts trading just against Bitcoin and forgets about the US dollar. One thing I do want to...
It has a value, Alex. So I don't mind. Like, a lot of the time, like some pairs I can't, like the Binance trade that I put up on the 31st of January to all your members as well. That's gone, I don't know how many times above. And you did a call just before. So we were both, your fundamentals were bang on. It also tied in with my technicals, and we both smashed it, right? It's been the best. I've had several trades on that pair, and it's been amazing. Now, I don't look at that and go, well, my dollar amount's not increased. I look at that and go, my Bitcoin amount has increased by X percentage for the trade that I took. So let's say I put 8 Bitcoin into that trade. Now, that 8 Bitcoins maybe 17 or 16, whatever it may be. I believe in Bitcoin. I'm not somebody who needs to make their instant profits right now. I'm building a portfolio. Now, whether it be your banking profits into Bitcoin or into US dollar, when you bank profits into Bitcoin, you can still come out of Bitcoin into AUD, USD, GBP, or euros. Never forget, if you're trading something of value, sure, the fees might be a little bit to come out, but it's still value.
Yeah, of course, of course. It's interesting to watch some of these big movers as well. You can say Nano and Wallet Chain have had some good news lately, and then they're up over 20%. And then you see Dogecoin up over 20%. So you always think that you can justify something, but sometimes crypto just wants to do its own thing.
Doge. What? I still have that in my scan every day, and I just go past it and go, why? It just seems to be the ultimate pump coin.
Any final thoughts for everyone, Cobb? I'm just trying to read through some good questions here.
Final thoughts, jeez. Look, in all honesty, it's like I don't generally change from my ethos. I never really change from what I do. I just do what I do, and I do it all the time. And sometimes, other people that suggest to do this or that do better than me, and that's fine. I congratulate them, but I just stick to what I know, man. Like you're the fundamentals guy. You read the fundamentals. You're very good at that. I love when my technicals match your fundamentals, such as with Binance. A couple months ago. I don't really have anything new. I will never have anything new ever. It's just about managing your risk, your portfolio, and trading strategies. Like it's worked for me for a very, very long time, mate. I'm not really ever going to change.
Hopefully get to apply those in a long, sustained bull market very soon after the crypto winter.
I hope so, mate. There's definitely some signs of some green shoots in spring. I'm really interested to see how the next. I want to see how the 24-hour candle closes. 11 a.m. tomorrow, Sydney time. I'm very interested to see where that candle closes. For me, that will tell me a lot.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks for joining us tonight, guys, and thanks for joining us, Cobb. Take it easy.
Good on you guys. Thank you.
See you guys.